What's going on, everyone? How is everyone here doing today on this beautiful, beautiful Thursday afternoon? Today is September 3rd. I'm really excited. We are back. We haven't done this in a while on UnlockNJHomes Live, but today we have a really, really special guest. I'm pretty sure you might know her. Maybe not, but you definitely should if you don't, because she is absolutely incredible. Today we are live with Michelina. For those of you who don't know Michelina, she has been crushing it behind the scenes, behind all of your favorite houses, staging it with her team, and just doing an incredible job of helping you guys sell your house a lot faster, just by making it look absolutely luxurious.
Thank you, honey. Thank you.
So, welcome, Michelina.
Thank you for having me. I feel welcomed already. Thank you, honey.
For those of you who don't know, Michelina and I go back pretty far. I've been in real estate for about 5 years. I was working full-time in New York City. I'm 46 and 6. And after seeing that fire on the Diamond District yesterday on Facebook and everything, I'm so glad I don't work there anymore. Thanks to this person right here.
People do that.
So with that being said, I was just going all over Facebook, making a whole bunch of friends. And one day Michelina called me saying that she needed an assistant. And that's, I ended up quitting my full-time job in the city. And I was like, hell yeah, let's do this. Let's crush it. And then we started crushing a couple of houses. And
that's right.
The rest is history.
That's right. That's right.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Michelina.
So yes, my name is Michelina Kurt. As Chris filled you guys in, we do stage luxurious, beautiful homes, new construction homes. Primarily our clients are builders, real estate agents. We do vacants, we do some owner occupieds, but excuse me. Right now with COVID, we're being a little selective with those. But yeah, we hit a lot of different markets throughout New Jersey. A little bit into New York. We're going to be expanding. Well, we don't know yet right now with COVID, but still. So we're a little bit all over New Jersey, Bergen County, Essex, Union, a little bit all over the place. So yeah. And you had the pleasure of seeing all the behind the scenes, all the craziness. And so I know you can appreciate the slaves.
100% for sure. I mean, with that being said, how long have you been in business for?
I want to say 5 years now. I want to say. I think it's been 5. Yeah, I want to say it's been 5, maybe approaching 6.
And in 5 to 6 years, you became amongst the top 1% in the entire country of all stagers. Yeah, it's incredible.
Lots of hard work. Lots of hard work. Lots of hard work.
Yeah. What time are you getting up every single day?
Well, I'm an early bird. So I'm up at 5. I've always been an early bird since I was a little girl. I love to be up there. I don't know. My body's just, I'm an early bird. So we're up at 5. We do start at 6, the team. And my team is the same way. They're early birds. They like to get up early, get it done. And so thank God, because we've been through a couple people where 6 o'clock is like, that's so early. And so yeah. But yeah, we're early gang.
By the way, guys, these are extra questions. This wasn't even part of the Q&A list, so we're throwing you guys a little bit of a couple of bonuses here. So
yeah, he threw a curveball earlier. I'm thinking.
So with that being said, what made you get into staging? Was this something that you were always really passionate about?
Yeah. So I've always wanted to be something like a designer. Oh, hey, John. A designer, whether it was fashion, designing home spaces and stuff like that. I always knew that since I was a little girl. Staging, like I've said this before, I didn't even know staging was staging. I didn't know what that was. I just stumbled across the term that it was staging when I got more involved with it. But I wanted to design and to create. And so this has been within me since very little. I've always been very creative with just within myself, clothing and furniture, pillow. Like I love it all. It's like a high for me. So some people like drugs. I like designing.
What did you do before?
Before I got involved in this area, I used to work for my cousin. Well, I had a regular 9-to-5 jobs. I used to work right there in Union in 5 Points for my cousin Lisa. What up? She owned a.
Hey, Lisa.
She owned a. Well, she has her doctorates in BCBA with helping children with autism. So I did the office manager work there, along with the cleaning, the plumber, anything else that had to get done there. So yeah, I was there for about 6 years, and then I fully executed and transitioned into doing this full time.
People really don't realize the hard work it takes to get to where you need to get to that position itself. You know, I remember when John and I was working with you, those early mornings where we were literally, digging out, digging out your the storage units and everything, and just digging out all the snow and just shoveling and breaking the ices and all stuff at like 5 in the morning.
I know it's a lot. It's a lot. A lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people see the final product, right? They see it's for first thing in the morning. We go live just to show you the space beforehand, or sometimes if we don't do that, we show you the finished product, and it's like, oh, magic, and it's like, oh my god, I love that. Oh my god, I want to do it's like so cool, so easy. Like there's so much preparation on the back end of it that people don't understand. You don't have to understand it. We just show up and make sure the houses are beautiful for our clients and get them ready and everything. So yeah, it's a lot. I mean, we've seen a lot of, oh my god, remember that. We've seen a lot of different, I mean, I've learned many different things. I was like, okay, well, we need to make sure we bring shovels on the truck for icy, weather conditions, and, when it's pouring, like we've been through any horrific situation that you could think that could go wrong. We have come across it, but we faced it, we faced it, we learned from it, and growing, right?
Well, every great business comes from some kind of adversity or some kind of struggle, and being able to overcome those hunches and all stuff is what takes you to that next level. That's the difference between a good stager and a great stager, and you didn't know anybody when you first got into this business. You had to figure this all out on your own. You had to grow, just like I have. I didn't know anybody in this business.
Right.
I just one day I sent an email out to Michelle Pye saying, hey, is there any way we just have a conversation? That's literally how my journey began. And, for you specifically, I know, just getting people to trust you with what you do and everything, because, for us agents and all stuff, the properties that we put on the market and everything, it's, we put a lot of, great agents put a lot of heart and soul into their deals.
Absolutely. I always applaud great agents, because that job, again, some people can say, I could sell a house, okay, cool. I could just show the house, walk and talk, do this, do that. But there is so many different layers to that. And a lot of people, listen, I love the real estate agents. I'll never become a real estate agent. For me, that's just not my my peanut butter and jelly. It's just, that's a lot, that's a lot. You have to worry about your client, other clients, the house, the inspection, the contracts, all that stuff. That to me is like, So it's a lot. So,
I got enough to deal with.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's crazy. So
what was the first property that you staged, and what was it like the first time?
Ooh, that's a good question. My first property that I staged. Okay. Well, first of all, my first project that I staged took me 2 days. All day long, because you're trying to, it took me forever. I mean, it was just me, and then I had John with me, so I was like, I need you to hang up this. I mean, we were doing window treatment, we were doing everything. We don't do that now. But I mean, if you got me early, then you got a good deal out of me. I was doing it all, and it took me like a long time because I wanted to perfect it. I wanted everything perfect. I mean, we still do that, but we don't take 2 days. We take a few hours in a day to stage a house. So that house was actually, oh my God, I'm trying to remember what house that was. I think that was in, I think it was Maplewood or Springfield. I'm not sure right now, but I know it was a long time ago, and it was like, it took me all day long. And it wasn't a big house. My first one wasn't a big house either. So that took me a long time, but that's just, you learn as you grow.
Hey, well, these projects aren't short. Even when you're at your absolute best and all stuff, they take time. I remember we were doing a couple of them.
Yeah,
even that little townhouse in Springfield. That little townhouse in Springfield took all day.
Yeah, I mean, you have to take a lot of factors in consideration. I mean, like entrances. Is there a door? Is there a garage? Is stairs? I mean, you have to take a lot of considerations into each and every property. You always, there's never a perfect day of a stage. It starts off perfect, like, yeah, we this, we that, and then you come across, oh, there's no key. Oh, it's the wrong code. Oh, the code they gave me it's the wrong one. They have to come now. We have to wait, or the house hasn't been cleaned, or there's a tub in the middle of the living room.
Oh, we had one of those. Fairway Drive. Remember, you caught me swiffering the entire floor, the floor while you were staging the rest of the house.
Yeah. Well, I had another one just recently that there was a full-blown tub in the middle of the living room, and we're like, okay. It's supposed to be returned. I mean, moved out. We got there, and then they moved it to the side of the living room, but yeah, we're already used to that, so it's like, okay, whatever,
just another day.
Another day, another tub in the middle of the living room, so it's okay.
What was your favorite project?
Oh, my favorite I know my favorite project. 6J Road, Chatham. I think it was 6J Road, Chatham, or Summit. I always get it confused. 6J Road, Chatham. It is the most beautiful home. Okay. And we've done a lot of beautiful homes, but this one was like and I think I took extra long on that one because when I take extra long on a project, it's because I'm really emotionally connected to it and I want to stay there for a while. That house, I don't know if you're looking it up. It's amazing.
That's exactly what I'm pulling up right now.
It literally had everything that you need. Like any buyer, whoever bought it could not bitch about it because it had everything. I mean, the layout was beautiful. The kitchen was enormous. It had surround sound system throughout the whole house. You had a perfect size yard, nice long driveway. So if you have parties or anything like that, yes, that's the house.
House.
Oh, I like how you did that feature. Look at that island. Look how beautiful that is. I love it. Yeah, it's probably going to take its own time. It had the best appliances. Look at that. I mean, you have so much space to entertain. Love those pendants. Everything is beautiful. Check out. I think that's we put a little Papa Red too to enhance those little knobs. Love that fireplace. So that was actually the living room. Yeah, family room, and then the living room was my favorite.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this house was beautifully built, just perfection.
Love that, bro.
Love the ceilings, everything. You might want to go to the other living room. That was my favorite.
That was crazy though.
Yeah, that was the dining room. They did just beautiful work throughout the home. I mean, it was a perfect balance too. So all the rooms were the master suite was enormous. The dining room was. Yeah, the dining room was great. It wasn't you weren't too lost in it, and you weren't too it wasn't too small. But the master was like a freakingness.
I spot from Bogle.
Oh yes, Bogle, yeah. Well, I don't drink Bogle anymore. There we go. That's that beautiful living room. It was just perfect. But
the lighting there is amazing.
Oh yeah. It was just so beautiful. Yep, I love that entrance too. We just kind of placed that little bench there.
Wait till they see the master.
I'm sorry?
Wait until they see the master.
Oh yeah, the master is amazing. Like you could put 2 king size beds in there, and it's still like that's a king size bed, and you still had room for like 2 king beds, 2 king beds in there.
That's what dreams are made of.
The house was perfect. The bathroom was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that bathroom was amazing. I love that bathroom. I love that house. I love it. We did an extra bedroom downstairs. Oh yeah, it was nice. Actually, John was there for that one to help me too. Like, you have to see that. Actually, that was around, I think, was it like winter? I don't remember when it was, but the house is amazing. You could not complain about that house.
No,
That house is beautiful.
insane.
It's gorgeous. Look at that backyard. I mean, come on. You can have a wedding back there. You can have you could host, entertain. Like, that's a dream.
Yeah, it is.
Congratulations to whoever bought that, because I'm actually jealous of you. Love that, bitch. Yeah, so that house was my favorite house. I'll never forget that house. Beautiful.
No, that's pretty amazing. It really is amazing.
Yeah.
Hope nothing just showed up on there. That shouldn't have been shown.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's withheld. Hold on one sec. Yeah, it was withheld. Good. Nothing illegal.
Nothing perverted.
All right. So, when did you first realize that you were meant for this?
Oh, when did I realize that I was meant for this? Well, I think I kind of knew that since I was in the womb. No, I think I knew, like, I mean, I've always had a passion for it, right? Everybody has passions for something in life, and then it takes you to actually step out, do it, for you to know if it's really something that you want to do. You know, somebody can say, I want to be a real estate agent, and then they step into it and they're like, oh shit, I don't want to do that. That's like, I thought it was going to be one way, and you know, it goes another way. You know, I always wanted to design and create, and then it's like, here's my chance. I'm going to do it. I'm either going to tank, or I'm going to, you know, excel in it, you know? So once I got my feet wet into it, and then once my first project, the house sold in that same week, and, you know, that client is still my client till this day. And it's just like, you know, once you perform, you know, how do I say it? Once you perform and you know that you've executed, it's like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, like I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I love what I do. There's nothing else that, you know, like this, just, I love it. I love it. I love it. So I guess on my first project, because after that, then my phone was ringing, and it was like, oh, I heard such and such, you staged this property. Can you stage our house? You know, and then blah, 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 and it kind of trickled over that way. And they were selling pretty fast. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. All right. So, okay. I'm going to fully do this full time, you know, so, and that's what, oops, sorry, my phone. And yeah, I mean, thank God everything's been going pretty good.
No, that's how it was like with me as well. Like, I didn't really necessarily, you know, I want to be a designer also, a graphic designer, for a long time. And, you know, I ended up dabbling into real estate because, you know, I tuned on to that $1 Million Listing New York television show one time. And I was just like, oh, it's all about marketing. And I found a way to take that background and mesh it. And once I figured that out, I was like, oh, I could do this, you know. And that's when I got, you know, when I got my first listing, that's when I was like, all right, let me take my skill set from my past life and mesh it together. And for you, it's not much different. You know, you went into design. Right. Now you're designing the layout of the house.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's the same thing. I mean, you kind of have to dive into it and explore. That's what I always say. You know, a lot of people have different passions to be whatever it is in life. And, you know, you have to just dive in, do it, and see what the outcome is. Sometimes you realize it's not for you. Sometimes you realize okay, I'm glad that I dived and I jumped in and I did it, and this is where I'm supposed to be. Or, you know, it vice versa. You learn a lot of different things about yourself.
I mean, you missed 100% of the shots that you don't take. You know,
the what?
You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
That's right. That's right.
You know, so I think that was Wayne Gretzky and also Michael Scott from The Office.
Nice.
uh,
Love that.
What's typically your busiest season?
So obviously summer, spring is hot, hot, hot. Surprisingly, around the winter times, we are pretty hot too, except for, Christmas, like the weeks leading up into like the holidays and stuff. It's kind of like a little bit, but sometimes you'll be surprised. I mean, we get the phone call where we're like, oh, okay, I don't know if you work on Thanksgiving. See, me, I'm a person, I don't care. I'll work on the holiday. It doesn't bother me. What was that?
Sorry about that.
It's okay. That doesn't bother me, but I have to also understand I have a team, they have family, so they're not going to work on those days, so we kind of will do a couple days before the holidays. It really depends, but our hottest is the summer, spring, obviously summer, spring. Yeah. Sure. But, everything kind of shifted with this whole situation with the COVID, because everything kind of hit. When was it? Like March, the beginning of spring? Was it March?
Yeah, March.
With COVID. So everything, this would have, we kind of were in a standstill in the beginning because it was like, okay, what's this? What's going on? How is everybody going to approach this? So we kind of took a little bit of a 2-week little situation, but we got through it and we're back on track. We've been very busy, so that's good.
For sure.
Yeah.
Why do you, from your personal standpoint, why is staging so important?
Staging is very important, especially for new construction homes, right? Mm-hmm. You're entering a home, and if it's vacant, I know people hear this all the time, but it's the truth. You come into the space and you have a million questions playing into your head, like, okay, well, I have a sectional. Well, I have this. I have 3 couches. I have 1 couch. I have this. You're constantly having that conversation in your mind with, is this going to fit? What looks good here? Everything's so gray, blah, 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 blah. And so once we come in and we actually stage it, and it kind of cuts the conversation of really not having that type of conversation, because we come in, we make it beautiful. We make sure there's a perfect balance. We make sure that we show everything, show the space off very well, the living room, the dining room, the potential of how much seating in a dining room, how much space you have in a bedroom, how much space you don't have in a bedroom. So you don't want to put a king in a really small size room and stuff, so it just, it cuts that conversation out instead of having it vacant and having all those sorts of questions. Like, I don't know if my stuff is going to fit here. You already have a living room set there, so you can see what fits there, right? Or what dining room or what kitchen or whatever it is. So, and plus it's the first impression when you first walk into a home. So when you first come in, you want to be blown away. You want to say, oh, wow, this house is beautiful. There's an emotional attachment there. And so people love it. People love it.
How do you feel about virtual staging?
I don't like virtual staging for this reason. It's great if you're looking on the MLS and you can't get somewhere, you can't get to the place or whatever it is, and you kind of want to see it. If it's a good virtual stage, because I've seen some that it's like, oh shit, is that did they stage it or is it virtual stage? So it depends, but for me, I can see it online, virtually staged, but then I'm still going to eventually come into the property, and then I'm still going to have that same conversation. Well, the picture says this, and that's not always accurate, really, the virtual stage. So you're still having the conversation of entering a house that's vacant, right? And it's kind of, you're still having those same conversations. Well, can I really fit this in here? Can I really not fit? What really can fit in there? So with us actually staging the property, it's going to fit there, or what can fit there, or it at least has the idea of what to do with the space. So for me, virtual staging, I mean, a lot of people ask me if I do virtual staging, would I do virtual staging? I'll never say never to something, but I don't think I would ever. I don't think so. I mean, if somebody maybe wanted to add a little something that I don't have that I can put in there, sure, but no, not a fan of it.
I could kind of agree with you. I do actually agree with that. mainly because like, yeah, once you stage it, we come in there, we take, we get the professional photography done and everything, and they manage to take the photos of the property in this perfect angle with your furniture in place and everything also. So like you're capturing the space itself versus the virtual staging, you're just kind of placing things there. And the thing is, like, if the entrance is too small to carry something in and all stuff, they're not going to know that.
Right. That's happened. That's happened in certain situations. That's why when we, there might be a tight space. We just did a house. Thank God there was an access to the garage.
What was that one that we did? Was it Jersey City or Hoboken with the mattress where we literally had to like, I think John was there too, where we had to like literally lift up the mattress to the second floor.
Probably,
or whatever it is, and we had to bring it in from the basement or something like that.
Oh God, I'm having a brain fart. But I believe you. I believe
it was like one of those, like we had to literally grab like a king size or queen size mattress and all stuff and lift it up. And we had to lift it over a balcony. And I think someone else had to be on the other side to pull it over.
Yes, I forgot. Yeah, it was magic. I was like, wow, we got it done. Yeah, I forgot what property that is, but exactly. I mean, we just had a property that we just staged, and the entrance, beautiful door, beautiful entrance, and oh God, that sucked. Yeah, I know. And I'm a little extra. I'm like a little to the left. Hoboken. Okay, he said Hoboken.
Yeah, you walked into that entrance, you were just like,
Oh, yeah. Well, this house that we just did 2 weeks ago, is that the front entrance, the doors went inward and you were greeted by the stairs, but the stairs were way too close. So you had this much space to get in from either side. So you'd have to close one door. And I was like, okay, first of all, this is crazy. Thank God the garage door, there was access from there. So we got everything through there. But again, they're going to see that front door and they're going to have that question, but they're going to say, but they got the furniture in here and there's access. So there's that conversation too. A lot of people, you'll learn that a lot of people don't think too much ahead. Like they'll just knock it off like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to get the furniture in here. The door's too tight or whatever it is, but we got the furniture through the garage. So you can see that, it's feasible. So that, yeah. So that yeah.
It's the same reason why I like to still bring, like, a lot of, realtors are all about using DocuSign and .loop and all stuff. And yeah, we still use it pretty aggressively, but that's also why I still personally like to deliver contracts every once in a while and have them physically sign it. Because once you're physically there, have the pen in your hand and everything, it's a lot different than just clicking on the mouse.
Right.
You have that physical feeling and like, it's just like, you're signing off on something,
Right. And you're there and people get busy, right? And then it's like, are they going to sign it? Then you're waiting, then you're harassing and you don't want to feel like, hey, remember that? You have to sign that. Remember. So yeah. I'm with you on that.
It's more personable too. It is definitely more personable too.
Yeah. And if you have a question or something, you're there. You don't have to,
Yeah, what we're providing is like a very, very strong personal experience, because when you walk into one of those properties, you want to be immersed into it and be like, oh, this is exactly where I would have put this. This is exactly where I want to be. I didn't think about this. Right. This is where I'm going to put it. We've been through so many cases, and I know you personally, but I know there was a property in Westfield a while ago. I mean, there's been multiple properties, obviously for you specifically, where, other agents previously would have the listing, wouldn't stage the property whatsoever. And then, they'll give it to another listing agent at that point. They'll stage the property, with you specifically. They won't even change the price of points. And then the next thing you know, they're selling really quickly just because of the fact that people just saw it from a completely different perspective that they wouldn't have seen just by looking at an empty canvas.
Absolutely. I mean, we've had a lot of cases. We just had a house literally was sitting on the market for a year straight. They did not stage it. Then the agent reached out and said, hey, we're considering staging it because, we haven't had, it's been a year, it's been on the market, so we want to test it out. Fine. So we came in, we staged it, and within that week, boom, under contract, sold, done. So it's just making sure that you're showing the property in a year, if you're not seeing something move within a couple of months, you have to kind of, strategize. Every team has a different strategy. A lot of them, they use us. Thank you. But you have to make sure that you're showing the property. If it's not doing pretty good those first couple of weeks or months, you might want to pivot. So yeah, so I love those. I love those houses. I love this. I love, we do amazing homes. I love a good challenge. So I love when we get a small little home too, where they're like, listen, this is a tiny house. It's tiny. Or in Hoboken, it's a tiny space. It's a 600 square foot condo, whatever. We don't know even where to begin. We just did one in Hoboken, very small. The living room was very small. The master was okay. The kitchen was, the dining room, there wasn't like a true dining room because when you first walked in, it was like, boom, you're in the kitchen. So the client, yeah. And the client was like, we don't know where to put anything. And so we made sure we had a 4 to 5 seating in that kitchen, off to the side. And then we put a full-size sofa in the living room, which the living room was a very tight space, but we made it very functional. And she texted me and she's like, okay, we're on the contract in 3 days. Love that. I love when I get those calls because it's like, it's been on the market or it's about to be on the market and they already know this is a small space. So we're going to have a hard time showing off the space of what goes where, what can fit. So I love those. We did one too in Sparta not too long ago. Very tiny house, tiny. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. Well, we're going to put a sofa in here. You have to you have to show. I mean, people are going to be living in the space. They don't want to see just 2 accent chairs in there. Like no one's really going to live in a house and have 2 accent chairs in a living room. You want to see them.
And if you leave it up to them and leave it completely empty, they're just going to visualize something themselves and they're just not going to see it.
Right. So yeah. So I love those. I love those projects. I love when we get those projects where they're a challenge, or I love that when it's been on the market for like a long time and then we stage it and then it's like, oh my God, we have it on the contract or closed, whatever. And so those are rewarding. I love that.
Well, that property that we closed in Springfield, the one for 1.3, that was on the market for over a year prior. Yeah. And when we got it under, my buyer, I remember our buyer specifically was just saying, constantly asking, can I buy the furniture?
You made a record sale, honey. You made a record sale.
Right. Thank you. Shout out to Caitlin Mooney for being a listing agent on that one and doing an awesome job for bringing in the listing. But I remember my buyer.
Was amazing. That house was amazing. And she was a leopard lover like me, and I appreciated that. I mean, she had a rug upstairs, a billiards room upstairs, and the carpet was entirely leopard. Love that. And she had an elevator. I mean, she had a little doggy area in the bed. The house was beautiful.
She wasn't even using it to go upstairs all the time. She was just using it just to bring stuff upstairs. Like she was just showing me. It's like, just gonna put this box here and just send a box upstairs. It's like,
I love that.
You don't even think about. I didn't even think about that. I was like, why did I think about that idea? It's like, because it's not normal to have an elevator in your house, so you don't really think about things like that. You just think about just walking in there, just thinking, oh, it's an elevator. Let's take an elevator.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And then when we did Union, we ended up taking top 10 in the town's history also. So that was awesome. So both properties that we staged by golf courses both took record prices and also.
That's right. I know. Congratulations. Awesome. It's amazing.
So, during COVID, when agents started to become really hesitant when using home stagers, you really stood out. How has COVID affected your business and what kind of changes did you have to do to adjust?
Oh, you got some good questions. So, yeah, I mean, when this all happened, I was just like, what the hell is going on? How is this going to affect us? I think everybody was in that same boat. Everybody was kind of like the unknown, what the hell to do? Is anybody going to buy any houses? This is still unraveling. And so, as I mentioned earlier, I mean, we kind of paused because we didn't know exactly what was going on with everything. And we took a couple of weeks, 2 weeks to kind of brainstorm and everything like that. And, I mean, we just kept, the phone was ringing. It wasn't ringing as it would normally in the beginning because everybody was so hesitant. But we just started, the stages that we did get, we made sure we market them correctly, kept pushing through, incorporating Matterport because, you know, a lot of people there was in the beginning, I think there was like a something that you couldn't come into the actual house in the beginning, right? Or
There
no,
was
but
well, no, New York was completely, you know, New York completely banned open houses as a whole. New Jersey, there was a whole, you know, you were extremely limited. You were only allowed to bring in, I think it was one person, and if that one person was to bring someone, it had to be a direct relative.
right.
And it had to be masked, also COVID form signed and everything, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, it was crazy in the first week for sure.
Yeah, so we were staging, and we were also taking proper precautions. You know, we were just asking that no one be in the property, while we were staging, and we were incorporating Matterport into our services just so people would still be able to see our stages, you know, whether it's, you know, in person or not or whatever. But, you know, all I have to say is that you have to keep pushing. At the end of the day, you either roll with the wave or you let the wave eat you. So, you know.
Yeah, I agree 100% because I remember a lot of people telling me, you know, nobody's staging their properties right now, nobody's doing this and that, and that was a big thing that I heard from a lot of big realtors and all stuff. But you know, everything that you're doing,
I mean, a lot of people weren't, and thankfully, I always say that I love my clients because they're loyal. They've been with me since day one. Truly, our clients are amazing. We love them. But they trust us. And, you know, in the beginning, listen, I'm a very honest person. So in the beginning, I was saying we kind of don't know where we're going right now. So I would wait right now. Let's kind of wait maybe a week or two and let's kind of like do this together and see, you know, because I'm not going to just say, yeah, we're going to stage in the middle of a freaking pandemic. You know, we have to make sure my team is safe. You know, the house is, you know, everybody's safe across the board. So, you know, in the very beginning, it was kind of like, I don't know where we're going right now. So let's wait a little bit and kind of, you know, do this thing together. So, I mean, I always say we have amazing clients, loyal clients. You're one of our clients. We love you. And, you know, they know that they're going to be, how do I say, handheld the whole way properly. Loyal.
No, that's really important.
Honestly, that's what I mean. Honestly,
that's so important. You know, full transparency is really, really important. And you know, even when you got to be willing to tell people what they don't want to hear, as much as you're willing to tell them what they want to hear as well. Because you know, you got to be honest with them. You know, because a lot of times what's best for them is not really what they actually want to accomplish. You know, like for me, I've told people want to list a property immediately. I would literally tell them, no, it's not a great idea to list it immediately. We should probably wait off and do this, et cetera, et cetera. Right. Even at that time when a pandemic hit and all that stuff, it was like, all right, how do we pivot from this? Because at that point, at that particular point, as everyone knows, the stock market was crazy at that point, and back in 2008, when the market crashed, the stock market crashed also, and the real estate market also crashed at the same time.
Right.
And the difference between this market and that market is that for some reason, while the stock market went down, the real estate market did not, and on top of that, all the mortgage lenders got really, really backed up because rates got dropped down all the way down to it started off dropping down to like 3.5. And when it got dropped down to 3.5, everybody was freaking out. We're like, oh my goodness, it's, rates are at all time low. And then it just kept on dropping and down to like, I think, at some point down to 2.7, 2.6. In normal cases, like a property, normal cases itself, last year, 2019, you're looking at rates between 5 to 6%. Pretty easily, at least anywhere between 2018 to 2019, the rates were substantially higher. And the difference is also, someone who was able to purchase a home for like $300,000 in 2019, that same buyer, as long as they're qualified, they had this, they had the buying power of buying something at least like about $400,000 almost at this particular point, just because of the rate difference itself. So people see this as an awesome opportunity, because
oh God, the freaking market right now is lit on fire.
Because we're getting, we're going to take record lows. It's like it doesn't even make sense for someone to buy out a house in cash at this point, because if you're going to get it for such a low interest rate, you're paying it off in about 30 years, over 30 years. And someone who's buying like a property that, they're just going to make money in this in the long run.
So I have a quick question for you. Actually been meaning to ask this. So with the market, how everything is crazy right now, right?
Yeah.
New York City is one of the most desirable places to live. Very expensive as well.
Yes.
Do you have you seen, or do you think you're going to see the way of, okay, so prices come down in the city?
I do think the prices will come down in the city as a temporarily. I do think the city eventually will re-solidify itself and get back on its feet, just like everyone else will, in due time. I think it's going to be it's going to be a while. The city did take a massive hit. We took a massive hit for sure. I mean, we were the second case, in the entire country, just because we were next to New York City, of the most coronavirus cases in the world. Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, in the country, not in the world, but in the country. But you know what I mean? But at the same time, New York buyers are still buying. I'm seeing a lot of deals happening still in like the Queens market, the Brooklyn, the Brooklyn markets, basically any of the borough outside the city.
Okay.
I do think the city market has quieted down a little bit, but I do know that Ryan is still selling houses somehow. So
there you go.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what it is. I mean, I do think at some point the city will pick up. I would say, that's actually why, for those of you who didn't see our show last time, why I'm starting to open, why I'm getting my license in New York City as well, just because,
awesome.
Yes, I'm so excited about this. That's actually a big reason why I joined Nest Seekers, because, I wanted to be able to connect to that New York City market, and, who better to learn from someone like, Ryan Serhan and, Sean Elliott, who you'll see on Selling Sunset and $1 Million Beach House, which is our new show actually on Netflix.
Ooh,
so
nice.
Shout out to
look at that. It was very good. Yes.
Huge shout out to Noel, Mike Fulfrey, JB, James, and Peggy. That show is awesome. So it's been an awesome experience just being a part of this amazing company. And Eddie Shapiro, our CEO, just has a crazy mindset where it's just like, back in 2008 when the market, 9/11, he created Nest Seekers, and when the market crashed, he started expanding his brand. And now during the pandemic, we're launching a massive television show. It's just like
amazing.
He doesn't let anything stop him, and just being around people inspirational like that, it's just really changed the way I've just envisioned the way I want to do my business and everything. At some point when I first started, my secret is not very, it's not really secretive anymore. I'm a lot more open about it these days, but I ended a 5-year relationship because, I had an ex-girlfriend that literally told me that getting to where I wanted to get to was going to be childish and impossible. But what I didn't realize at that particular point, that my goals at that particular time is actually very small in comparison to what I'm really trying to accomplish in the overall picture. When you first get into this business and all stuff, you see things in a certain way, but as you start adapting in it, it starts growing, it starts expanding, and then your vision starts expanding, and you realize that, like, what, in some ways, based off of my mindset back at that particular point, maybe she would have been right.
Right.
But because of everything that I've experienced in this business and just being around the right people,
right,
where I could say that that's definitely never going to be the case, because the fact of the matter is, I've been around someone like you, someone like Kathy, someone like Ashley Gavano, just people who've been plugged with some of the greatest people in this business. One of my biggest deals happened because I was on a staging project with you when I met Matt Brosdick.
Right, yeah.
That was 1252 Crescent Avenue. That ended up being a deal that we ended up, was supposed to be my quickest deal of all time. It was supposed to be, I originally marketed it as, got the house under contract within the first 45 days. And then it ended up taking an entire year because the homeowner at that particular point owed substantially more money on their property than they actually told me. And we didn't find out until maybe like 2 days before closing. And I was actually on staging with you then too.
Oh my God.
You see, I remember you walking in, and I was like, man, I just had a deal fall apart. You just saw it drop in my face, and who else was there with us? It was me, you, Susan. John was on the project. It was crazy. And then I got it over to both you, Casey, and Ashley all recommended Matt Merenoff at that time, and this is before I met Matt. This is before I met Matt, and
Matt Merenoff is the man. He's amazing.
This guy is an absolute wizard when it comes to the short sales. It's insane. He managed to get a $250,000 debt down to like $135. for Matt. For Matt Prosdick, we ended up getting it on the contract. We ended up closing it very, very quickly as soon as he got it done. Basically as soon as the homeowners were able to cooperate, were being cooperative, we managed to close it pretty much immediately. And Matt Prosdick got onto it with Victor very, very quickly. We listed it for $359 afterwards, and we sold it for $375 in 6 days.
Nice.
Shout out to Susanna Costa. Thank you so much for bringing me the amazing buyer.
Nice. Yeah, that's one of the things that I love about you, Chris. Your drive. Your drive and your mindset. You go, 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 and you don't stop. And that's something that is very admirable and is awesome. So keep going.
Hey, we haven't stopped since the pandemic has started. It's been absolutely crazy, and I've actually exceeded my numbers from last year already this year.
Awesome.
And this is through the pandemic, through whatever it is. It just shows you that if you put the work in, and if you just know how to channel your focus, then anything's really possible.
Yeah, you have to put the work in. Anything's possible. You just have to put the work in. You have to have your right mindset, eyesight and mindset. You have to put the work in. Anything can be done as long as you put the work in.
I agree 100%. What was it that Elon Musk said a while ago? Nobody ever changed the world on a 40-hour week, and it's true. You can't get to the place where you are. It's great. If anyone's able to get into a 9-to-5 job that's able to sustain themselves and pay them and all that stuff, great. You did a great job. You got a great job or whatever it is and all that. But for me personally, and also as an entrepreneur, as someone like you who is also an entrepreneur now, at this particular point, that's what it is. You got to put in that work to be able to grow that business, for us to be able to create recognition. What people don't realize, that with my job and your job, our job is beyond just staging a house. Your job is beyond just staging a house. My job is beyond just being the realtor these days.
Right.
It's about branding. It's about growing. It's about gaining more leads, getting more traction, being recognized. So this way, when people think about staging, they think Michelina automatically. Just like for me personally, when people think real estate, I want them to think UnlockNJHomes,
Right.
So it's just like, it's the same ideology in that sense itself. It takes just as much work. Like it'll take about 30 hours to 40 hours a week to do what you need to do just on the real estate side itself. But then you're also putting an extra 20 something hours a week, and also just to market, just to brand, even doing these little Zoom calls just to get us, just to help our recognition, show people what we do. It's all time management, and it's unfortunate. We literally, I really just got really adjusted into time blocking this year, like really got aggressive with it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you got to do in this business, and all that, which is crazy.
You have to. Yeah, you definitely have to. I'm with you on that. Sometimes I used to. Well, I still do sometimes, but I'm trying to manage that. Just go out the house like a wild person and just start getting the day right. But you have to time block. You have to, prioritize. You have to make those times. You have to just prioritize, just put yourself on a schedule.
No, 100% for sure. So I know we are getting close to running out of time. Is there anything new happening in the life of Michelina, or, anything new in the horizons?
There is, but I can't say anything just yet. Very soon, I will be sharing some amazing news with you guys that I'm excited. But, we're still staging. We're still slaying. We have a busy week coming ahead of us. We're going to be like in Hoboken, Edgewater area next week. So I'm just, I'm blessed to do what I'm doing. I love it. And I can't wait to come up with more stages for you guys.
Well, one last thing before we end the show.
Oh, God.
Give us one fun fact about Michelina.
A fun fact of me? Oh, Lord. A fun fact.
I know you're a vegan.
I am vegan. Proud vegan. I guess that I'm really a homebody. I'm a big homebody, and I know a lot of people say, like, I don't watch TV. But I'm a very big, like, I love reality. I love reality TV. I don't know if that's a fun fact. I don't know. I'm just trying to, like, think. I love reality TV. I don't know. It's a little fun fact. I'm obsessed with the Housewives. I'm obsessed with Bravo. I'm obsessed with E. I'm obsessed with I don't know. I guess that would be a fun fact. I don't know. Is that good?
We definitely got to go to some of these crazy open houses in the city together sometime for sure.
Wait, yes.
Let's do it.
Do it.
Well, guys, thank you so much to my guest Michelina for dropping by.
Thank you for having me on.
You guys definitely gotta drop her a follow on social media, on Instagram. That's the little thing that's scrolling on the bottom over there, House of Michelina. Next guest is to be decided, but I want to thank you all for dropping by and checking out this video. It's going to be on YouTube and both pages on my Facebook page as well, and Michelina's as well. So
yes, it is.
Really fun time, guys. I really appreciate you guys for dropping by and just contributing to everything here. So
definitely have fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.